A pleasant day to each and everyone. So in this lecture, we're going to cover the different DPED orders that embodies the policy development process, strategic planning, and BMEF, as well as research and matatag related policies. So before anything else, let's try to ponder on these test taking tips. Okay, known as the rosary. So this is a structured method designed to help us prepare for and perform well in examinations or any situations requiring focused efforts. So let's break down each of these components. We have R for ready, prepare yourself. So emphasize the importance of preparation. So this involves understanding the material, getting all the necessary resources, and mentally preparing for the task ahead. O for organize your thoughts and concentrate. So organization is a crucial for clarity and efficiency. So you must be able to organize your thoughts so that you can create a clear plan of action. Concentration ensures that the mind is focused on the task. So concentrate by organizing your thoughts. As for saying prayer, so for many, prayer is a moment of mindfulness which provide us a sense of calm and grounding. So it helps us reduce stress and bring a positive mindset to our task at hand. So this step can be adapted to our personal beliefs and practices. And A for aware, be aware on time. So time management is essential in any task. So be aware of the time and ensure that all parts of the task are addressed within the given time frame. So when you take tests, you make it a habit to check the clock every now and then so that you can prevent last minute rushes and incomplete answers. R for review. Review your answer as long as you have time. So reviewing allows for correction of mistakes and refinement of your answers. So you have to ensure that your output is accurate and comprehensive as possible. So taking time to review can often reveal errors that were missed during the initial execution. And finally, Y for yes. Say yes. I made it. So be optimistic about the outcome of your efforts. Maintain a positive outlook, which is vital for your mental well-being and future motivation. So hopefully the rosary method gives you a hint, okay, of what are you going to do when you take tests. So next, okay, let's also try to reflect on this code, which says, I am not sure what we're going through. I don't know the problem you are facing, and I might not even understand, but I know that God won't fail you and God will help you trust in Him. So luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So this is also very important reminder for us in taking tests that you should not only depend on yourself, you must also depend on your faith and also trust God that you'll be able to make it. It's always 50% effort and 50% grace from God. So don't forget to call on Him, okay, to ask for His guidance. All right. So what will be shared in this presentation? So along the way, we're going to go over some important debit orders associated with policy development process, okay, the DO 13 series of 2015. And also, we're going to cover strategic planning and BMEF, the DO 24 series of 2022 and DO 29 series of 2022. And finally, we have research and other matatag implementation related policies, okay, under DO 16 series of 2017 and DO 14 series of 2022, etc. So uh, this is not necessarily be the correct sequence, no, of the presentation, but along the way, Okay, we're gonna touch each of these different important topics. And especially we're gonna focus on some points about the Matatag implementation related policies. So I know that most of us are familiar with this, but it's always good to tackle each no of these different policies so that our minds will be refreshed, okay, on these different important matters. So along the way also, there will be practice tests, okay, so that you will be able to practice your brain cells. Okay. So this practice test will help you develop critical thinking in taking tests, for example. So expect that there will be more practice tests along the way. So let's first deal with this question. What level of governance creates national education policies in the Department of Education? Is it the central office, the regional office, the schools division office, or the schools and the CLCs? So what do you think is the correct answer here? So national education policies in the Department of Education, or DepEd, in the Philippines are primarily created at what particular office? So if we're going to check, when we say first, let's look at your central office. So mainly the function of the central office is for policy development, right? It has its role in policy creation. Also, the central office is responsible for leadership and coordination, and even research and evaluation. So the key functions of the central office is drafting and issuing the DOs, the debit orders and memoranda, and also establishing national programs and initiatives, setting educational standards and competencies. How about the regional office? The regional office mainly has its role in policy implementation also, specifically the localization of policies, wherein it adapts national policies to the regional context, ensuring that they are relevant and effectively implemented. And also they're responsible for monitoring and supervision. So the RO oversees the implementation of national policies in schools and divisions within the region, ensuring compliance and providing feedback to the central office. So the RO also provide technical assistance. It provides support and guidance to the schools division officers and schools to facilitate effective policy implementation. The key function of the RO, the regional office, is conducting regional training, right? Professional development, monitoring, and evaluating educational outcomes within the region, providing administrative and logistical support to schools and division. How about the schools division office? So the schools division office also has its role in policy execution. Um, Specifically operationalization of policies. So it is the schools division office that translates the regional guidelines into actionable plans for schools and ensures that the schools adhere to national and regional policies. And also, it is the schools division office that is responsible for resource allocation. So they manages resources and ensures they are used effectively to meet educational objectives set by the national and the regional policies. Okay. So the schools division office also perform monitoring, right? Monitors the performance of schools within the division, ensuring that they meet set standards and objectives. So the key functions of the school division office is supervising school operations, implementing division-specific programs initiatives, and providing direct support and guidance to schools. And finally, we have the schools and the CLCs, or the community learning centers. The schools and community learning centers has its role in direct implementation. So they're the one that um, will do policy implementation. They execute the policies and programs set by the higher governance levels, ensures that teaching and learning process align with the national and regional standards. So the schools also is responsible or has its role in feedback and adaptation. So they provide feedback on policy implementation, offering insights on ground level challenges and successes. So this feedback can inform future policy development or policy adjustments. And also community engagement. So they engage with the communities to support educational initiatives and ensure policies are effectively meeting the local needs. So key functions of the schools are delivering instruction and educational services, implementing school level programs, and also activities, monitoring and supporting educational outcomes to the division officers. So basically, the answer to this question, if you will say central office, okay, so you are correct. So the central office is the primary body responsible for creating national education policies within the Department of Education. And they are the one that establishes the overarching goals, standards, and frameworks that guide the Philippine education system. While the regional offices, the school division offices, and individual schools and CLCs, they play crucial roles in adapting, implementing, and providing feedback on these policies to ensure that they meet the local needs and context effectively. So this hierarchical structure ensures that the policies are coherent, well coordinated, and aligned with the national educational goals while allowing for local and responsiveness. All right, so the first DO that we're going to cover is DO 13 series of 2015, okay, which embodies policy development process. Under this, we have establishing a policy development process in the Department of Education. Okay, so Debit Order number 13 series of 2015 outlines the establishment of a systematic policy development process. So this order ensures that policies are well researched, collaboratively developed, and effectively implemented to address the dynamic needs of the educational system, right? So in this diagram, okay, this is the legal framework, right? The legal framework. Okay. So the legal framework for the governance of the basic education in the Philippines is primarily established by Republic Act number 9155, also known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. So the implementing rules and regulations, or IRR, okay, of RA 9155 further define the rules and responsibilities of various levels within the DepEd. So Republic Act number 9155, or the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, aims to provide a framework for the governance of basic education, ensuring a decentralized and participatory approach. It delineates the powers and responsibilities at different levels of DepEd to enhance accountability, transparency, and responsiveness to local needs. So for the central office, the rules and responsibilities involve uh, formulate national education policies. So the central office is tasked with the development and formulation of the national education policies. So these policies set the strategic direction for the education sector, ensuring alignment with national development goals and international standards. So the policies encompass various aspects such as curriculum standards, teacher education, student assessment, and resource allocation. And also, they're responsible for the promulgation of national education standards. So establishing national education standards is a key responsibility of the central office. So these standards define the competencies that students must achieve at different levels of education. They ensure consistency and quality across all the schools, and standards include the learning outcomes, teaching practices, school management, and infrastructure requirements. So it is also the central office which is responsible for oversight and coordination. So they provide overall leadership and coordination for the implementation of policies and programs. They also monitor and evaluate the performance of the education system using data to inform policy adjustments and improvements. While the regional offices has its role to perform oversight functions in the implementation of laws, policies, programs, rules, and regulations within the responsibility of the department in the region. So in terms of performing oversight functions, the regional offices oversee the implementation of the national laws, the policies, the programs, the rules, and regulations within their respective regions. They act as the link between the central office and the local education units or the division offices and the schools. This oversight function ensures that national policies are effectively localized and implemented in a manner that addresses regional specialties and needs. So the regional offices are responsible for the direct supervision of schools, division offices, and they provide guidance and support to ensure that the SDOs can effectively implement educational programs and initiatives. They also ensure compliance with national education standards and policies, conducting regular monitoring and evaluation. So it is also the task of the regional offices for technical assistance and capacity building. They provide technical assistance to the SDOs and schools, which is also a critical role of the regional offices. They offer training, resources, and support to enhance the capabilities of local education leaders and teachers. Also, they facilitate the dissemination of best practices and innovations in education. The regional office also has a function for feedback and reporting. The RO collect data and feedbacks from where? From the SDOs and the schools, reporting back to the central office. So this feedback loop is essential for continuous improvement and responsive policy making. So they also ensure that the local challenges and successes are communicated to the national level, helping to inform future policy developments. So the legal framework established by RA 9155 and its IRR outlines a clear, structured approach to the governance of basic education in the Philippines. So by delineating the rules and responsibilities of the central office and regional offices ensures that the national education policies are effectively formulated, implemented, and monitored. So this framework promotes a decentralized, accountable, and participatory education system, aiming to provide quality education for all Filipino learners. All right. So another practice test. What processes have to be taken seriously before a policy is adopted? A, systematic. B, participatory. C, evidence-based. D, all of the above. So before a policy is adopted, it is essential to take several processes seriously to ensure its effectiveness, visibility, and acceptance by the stakeholders. So these processes include being systematic, participatory, and evidence-based. So when you say systematic, when can you say it is systematic? A systematic process involves structured methodological approach to policy development. Okay, so it ensures that every step from initiation to implementation is planned and executed in an organized manner. Okay, and when you say participatory process, involves engaging a broad range of stakeholders in the policy development process. So this includes individuals and groups who are directly affected by the policy, as well as those who have expertise or a vested interest in the policy area. When I say evidence-based process, it involves using data, research, and empirical evidence to inform policy decisions. It ensures that policies are grounded in factual information and best practices. So, what do you think is the correct answer here? All right, so the correct answer is letter D, all of the above. So for a policy to be adopted successfully, it must undergo a rigorous process that is systematic, participatory, and evidence-based. So each of these components plays a crucial role in ensuring that the policy is well conceived, widely supported, and effectively addresses the issues at hand. So by integrating these processes, policymakers can develop robust, inclusive, and impactful policies that stand the test of time and meet the needs of the population. All right. Next. So for the objectives in the context of policy development, now in these slides, we have the framework of a good policy development. It should be evidence-based, it should be systematic, and it must be participatory. So evidence-based, meaning it must rely on data, research, and empirical findings to define what the policy aims to achieve. Okay. And aside from that, okay, it must be participatory, which means that objectives are developed through the involvement of the stakeholders, ensuring that policy reflects the needs, the perspectives, and experiences of those affected by it. And of course, it must be systematic. Okay, so systematic objectives are set through a structured and methodological process, ensuring that each step of the policy development is organized, coherent, and aligned with broader goals. Okay. So integrating evidence-based, participatory, and systematic approaches in setting policy objectives results in well-rounded, robust, and practical policies. So this is how they are integrated. So this is the process. So first, there will be initial research and stakeholder engagement. Okay, so they start by collecting evidences and engaging stakeholders to understand the issue comprehensively. Then next, we have drafting the objectives. So they develop initial policy objectives based on the collected evidence and stakeholder input. So research comes first, no? Then after that is drafting, okay, of the objectives, then followed by systematic planning. So a detailed plan, okay, will be created that outlines the steps to achieve these objectives, ensuring alignment with broader goals and framework, and then followed by continuous feedback and adjustment. So throughout the policy development and implementation process, so they gather feedback and assess progress, making necessary adjustment to stay on the track. So setting policy objectives that are evidence-based, participatory, and systematic ensures that policies are well-informed, inclusive, and effectively implemented. All right. Okay. Another question, which is not a stage of the policy development process? Let's try to answer this question, which is not a stage of the policy development process. So, is it A, agenda making, B, policy formulation, C, policy directive, D, policy adoption, or E, none of the above? So, these are some of the stages of the policy development process, and one of them is the part of it. So, what's the correct answer here? When I say agenda making, this is the stage which involves identifying and prioritizing issues for government action. Then, when we say policy formulation, this involves policymakers developing specific policy proposals to address the issues identified in the agenda making stage. While we have policy directive, this refers to the communication of the policy direction or objectives to relevant stakeholders after adoption. And this communication typically occurs as part of the implementation phase rather than as a distinct stage of policy development. While the next is policy adoption. So once a policy proposal has been formulated, it undergoes a process of review and approval by relevant authorities. So this stage involves obtaining formal endorsement or authorization or the proposed policy to be implemented. So what is the correct answer here? Letter C, policy directive. So this term is not commonly used to describe a specific stage in the policy development process. No? So while it may be an aspect of policy implementation or communication, it is not typically considered a distinct stage in the policy development process. So let's take a look at the framework of the policy development process. So as you can see, the framework policy directive is not part of the policy development process. Okay, so in this particular framework, you can see that this is the policy development process consists of several systematic stages and each with specific actions and responsibilities to ensure that policies are well researched, inclusive, and effectively implemented. Okay, so first you have agenda setting. Okay, so agenda setting is the process of identifying and prioritizing issues that require government or organizational attention and action. So the key activities here for agenda setting is issue identification. So recognizing problems or opportunities that need to be addressed through policy intervention. Then under agenda setting also is prioritization, determining which issues are most pressing and should be addressed first based on their impact, urgency, and feasibility. Okay. Next, we have policy agenda. So the policy agenda is a list of issues that have been selected for policy development. It represents the prioritization of issues that policymakers have agreed to address. So here, the key activities aligned to policy agenda. We have policy analysis. This can be conducted by a proponent unit to understand the context, the causes, and potential solutions for the identified issues. And then followed by consultation and consensus. So engaging stakeholders to build agreement on which issues should be prioritized. Okay. Then we have policy formulation. Okay. So policy formulation is the stage where specific policy proposals are developed to address the issues on the policy agenda. So the key activities here, we have drafting the policy. Okay, so under policy formulation, we have the proponent unit drafts the policy document, conducting thorough analysis and research. Then afterwards, it will be reviewed by the PRD or the Policy Research and Development Unit. Okay, they review the content of the draft of the department order, the DO, for coherence and alignment with existing policies. Then followed by executive committee or execum review. So the draft policy is reviewed by the executive committee for approval, followed by the language and style review by the PDPAS. So the Policy Development Public Affairs Service, or the PDPAS, ensures that the language and style of the draft of the DO are appropriate and clear. Okay. Next, we have the policy options. So what happens here? So policy options refer to the different approaches or the strategies that could be implemented to address the identified issues. So what happens here? There will be evaluation of alternatives, assessing the potential impact, the feasibility, and cost of different policy options. And also, there will be a stakeholder consultation, gathering input from stakeholders on the proposed options to ensure that they are practical and acceptable. Then we have policy adoption. Okay. So under policy adoption, this is the stage where the policy proposal is officially approved and authorized. So what happens here? There will be approval by the secretary. So the Secretary of Education approves and assigns the order, the DO. Then number assignment and publication by PDPAS. No, the PDPAS assigns a number to the signed DO and publishes it, making it officially part of the policy framework. Then after that, it will be followed by uploading to the website. So the signed DO is uploaded to the DepEd website based on the appropriate category for public access and transparency. And we have next is the policy implementation, right? So policy implementation involves putting the adopted policy into action. Okay, so it involves carrying out activities. DepEd implementers undertake activities to execute the policy as planned. Then monitoring the progress, the proponent unit monitors progress to ensure the policy is being implemented effectively. Then we have compliance monitoring by the PRD. The PRD monitors compliance with the policy to ensure it is followed as intended. Okay, so next, we have policy review. Okay. So policy review is the stage where the effectiveness of the policy is evaluated and assessed. Okay. So the proponent units will undergo evaluation in coordination with the PRD. Now they conduct an evaluation of the policy's impact and effectiveness, and there will be feedback and adjustments. So based on the evaluation results, feedback is gathered and necessary adjustments are made to improve the policy. Okay, so once it is implemented, the policy will be reviewed, by the PRD. Okay. So each stage in the policy development process really plays a critical role in ensuring that policies are well designed, inclusive, and effective. So the process outlined ensures transparency, accountability, and continuous improvement, ultimately leading to better educational outcomes. Okay, so in the next few slides also, we have a detailed description of the different stages, no, of the policy development process. Okay, so first is agenda setting. Okay, so this is involving adoption of a long-term or short-term policy agenda. Okay, then identification of policy gaps, okay, issues, problems, areas, opportunities, and trends. Then we have formal consultations, meetings, conferences, or workshops. And there are also informal processes where issues and concerns requiring policy intervention surface in activities not intended for uh, agenda setting. Next, to agenda setting is policy formulation. This is where we conduct policy analysis. Okay, so there will be identification and comparison of the policy options. And this is also where recommendation and drafting of proposed policy occurs, and as well as consultation and validation of recommended policy. Then we have policy adoption. So it is at this stage wherein approval of the secretary of the proposed policy occurs, no? And also publication of the approved policy, then followed by policy implementation, implementation of the procedures, the rules, the responsibilities, and mechanisms, okay? Followed by progress monitoring and periodic data collection by the process owner, ensuring that objectives are achieved and adjustments can be made. Then we have next is policy review, evaluation of the policy to determine its effectiveness, efficiency, and impact. Okay. Also, recommendation of the next steps for the policy. Okay. So as you can see in the framework, there is this policy analysis and development process framework. Okay. So this policy analysis and development process focus on the key activities and stages that collectively ensure the creation and implementation of effective policies. Okay. So central to the policy analysis and development process is the policy problem. Okay, so everything is anchored on the policy problem. Okay, so as you can see, okay, the policy problem is at the center of the policy analysis and development process. Okay, and then surrounded by problem structuring, okay, which is the first stage, no, of the policy development process, which is agenda setting. So problem structuring is the central element which involves identifying and clearly defining this one, problem structuring. This is where identification of the problem, okay, occurs, okay, those problems that needs to be addressed. And then effective problem structuring ensures that the root causes are understood and that the policy addresses the right issues. Okay. Then we have surrounding activities. Okay. Policy performance. Okay. So under policy performance, this is where after a policy has been implemented, its performance must be evaluated. Okay. So under policy performance, this involves assessing whether the policy is meeting its intended objectives and identifying any areas for improvements. Okay. Then we have policy formulation. Okay. So under policy formulation is the forecasting stage. No? Okay. So what happens here in the forecasting stage? So under forecasting, in this stage, policymakers use data and analytical tools to predict the outcomes of various policy options. Forecasting helps in anticipating the potential impacts and effectiveness of different approaches to solving policy problems. Next, we have policy features. So this is the recommendation stage. Based on the forecasting and analysis, specific policy recommendations are made. So these recommendations outline the best course of action to address the policy problem effectively. Okay. Then, followed by policy adoption. Okay. So here, in under policy adoption, this is where recommendations, okay, are adopted based on the forecasting and analysis. Okay. Then we have policy actions. So this involves the actual steps taken to implement the recommended policy. It includes detailed planning and execution of the strategies designed to solve the policy problem. All right. So next on the framework is we have policy implementation. So under policy implementation is monitoring. Continuous monitoring is crucial during the implementation phase to ensure that the policy is being executed as planned and to track its progress. So monitoring helps in identifying deviations from the plan and allows for timely corrective actions. Then we have policy outcomes. So under policy outcomes, this involves the results and impacts of the policy once it has been implemented. So evaluating policy outcomes helps in understanding the real-world effects of the policy and provides data for future policy adjustments or new policy developments. So this framework shows an integrated components, no, the agenda setting, okay, agenda setting, which is the center, okay, of the framework. So the agenda setting as the center of the framework is the initial stage, okay, involving bringing the policy problem to the forefront of the policymakers' attention. It requires structuring the problem in such a way that it gets recognized as a priority issue that needs addressing. That is why it is put there at the center. That's why it's placed in the center. And throughout the process, there is problem structuring, right? Under agenda setting. Problem structuring is not a one-time activity. Okay, as you can see, it surrounds the policy problem. Policy structuring surrounds the policy problem because it is not a one-time activity. It is a continuous process throughout the policy cycle. It ensures that the policy problem is revisited and redefined as necessary based on the new insights and data from various stages of the policy process. Okay, so the overall process flow, the policy begins with agenda setting and moves through the problem structuring, ensuring that the issues are well defined. Okay, then we have forecasting and recommendation stage. Okay, so involve analyzing potential solutions and deciding on the best course of action. While the policy actions phase translates these recommendations into concrete steps, while monitoring ensures that these steps are being followed and evaluation assess their effectiveness or post-implementation. And the continuous feedback loop from policy performance and policy outcomes informs the future policy analysis and development, creating a cyclical process of improvement. So the policy analysis and development process is a comprehensive framework that emphasizes a structured approach to identifying, formulating, implementing, and evaluating policies. Each stage is interconnected, ensuring that policies are data-driven, well monitored, and continuously improved based on the performance evaluation. So this systematic approach is crucial for developing effective and impactful policies that address real-world problems and sustainability. All right. Okay. Let's have another question. How many fundamental contents are covered by a policy? What do you think? A11, B12, 13, C13, B14. Okay. So in a policy, okay, released by DepEd, how many fundamental contents, okay, are found, no, in a DepEd order, for example? Okay, how many fundamental contents are there? Okay, in a DepEd order, for example. So the correct answer is, okay, the correct answer is letter C, 13. So the number of fundamental contents covered by a policy can vary depending on the specific guidelines and requirements of the organization or governing body. However, a common standard often referenced in policy development frameworks includes specific core elements. And if a specific number is mandated or commonly recognized within the DepEd or a similar context, it will be part of those guidelines. So, given the options, the correct number is 13 as based on the context of the DepEd. Okay, so what are these different fundamental contents of a policy? So let's take a look. Okay, so this is how your DepEd order looks like, right? And what are the basic contents of a DepEd order? Okay, or a policy cover. So we have 13 different elements. Okay, what are these different 13 elements, no? Or the basic contents of a DepEd order? Okay, these are the different elements or basic contents of DepEd order. Okay, first, the letterhead, which include the DepEd official seal and the agency name. So this is the letterhead. Okay, so it's the first content. Next, we have the official date, the date signed by the secretary or his or her authorized official. So you can find here the dates, right? In number 2, the dates, okay, or official dates. Then number 3, what's number 3? Number 3 here, this one, this part here, that is the control number with the series, okay, of year disseminated. So number 3 here is your control number. Number 4, okay, this one, this part here, number 4, Number 4 are the concerned officials, the policy proponent and implementers, and stakeholders. Okay, that's number 4. How about number 5? This part here. This is number 5. So what's the content of number 5? Number 5 contains a statement of the policy. Okay, so this is where you can see the statement of the policy in this part here, number 5. For number 6, we have the objectives of issuing the policy. So usually here in this part, you can see the objectives, no, of issuing the policy. Okay, number 6. And then we have number 7 is the statement on repelling, rescinding, or modifying provisions contained in the previously approved policy. That's number 7. Then we have number 8, the statement of publication and effectivity. So the statement of publication and effectivity is found now in this portion. Then we have number 9. The number 9 contains the closing statement for strict compliance of all concerned to the stated policy. Okay, here, you can see that in this part. Number 10 is the issuing authority with the signature. So this is the issuing authority, okay, including the signature. And number 11 is the statement of inclusure. Okay. And this one, the statement of the inclusure. And number 12 is the related and repealed previous issuances used as a reference. And finally, number 13, okay, this portion here contains the classification in perpetual index for easy reference and research. Okay, so these are the basic contents of a DepEd order or a policy cover. So there are 13, no, in the context of DepEd. Okay, next, practice question. What policy content section describes actions or instructions, techniques, and systems for implementing the policy, including the actors and the rules and responsibilities? Is it A, monitoring and evaluation, B, the policy statement, C, standards, frameworks, procedures, or D, the scope? Okay, so what do you think is the correct answer here? So the correct answer is letter C. Okay, so the standards, the frameworks, the procedures, okay, section describes actions or instructions, techniques, and systems for implementing the policy, no, including the actors and the rules and responsibilities. Okay. Okay. So these are the basic contents of the DepEd order. So in the rationale, you can find here in the rationale the brief background of the issue, the problem addressed, or the reasons behind the creation of the policy. Okay. Followed by the scope. Under the scope, we have the coverage of the policy in terms of the subject matter, the stakeholders affected, or jurisdiction. And then we have definition of terms, the meaning of terms as used in the policy, okay, or the operational definition, especially those which might be unclear to the readers. Then we have the policy statement. You can find here the principles or objectives that the order seeks to uphold. Then the standards, frameworks, and procedures containing the steps or instructions, systems, and mechanisms for implementing the policy, actors, and the rules and responsibilities. Okay, then we have the monitoring and evaluation. This is where mechanisms, time frame, and other provisions for progress monitoring and policy evaluation is located. Okay, then we have the references, the list of cited references, then effectivity or transitory provisions contain the date or the period of application, including the interim measures. Looking at the details of the rationale, so this is how it looks like, right? So under the rationale, you have the context, then followed by the reasons, okay, or the policy gap. Then we have the purpose. Okay, so that's for the rationale. Next, we have the scope. Under the scope, we have the coverage of the policy, which may be in terms of the subject matter, stakeholders affected, or the jurisdiction. So this is an example of the scope of the policy. Okay. And then next, we have definition of terms. So under definition of terms, okay, you have their specific terms that are operationally defined based on the context now of the policy. Then we have the policy statements, okay, which includes the principles, the rules, and standards that the policy seeks to uphold. So that's an example of a policy statement. Okay, up next we have the procedures. So this is where the steps or instructions, the systems or mechanisms in implementing the policy is located. Okay, under the procedures. Okay, you can also see the actors and their responsibilities, rules, and the timetables under the procedures. Then followed by monitoring and evaluation. So under monitoring and evaluation, we have the mechanisms, the time frame, and other provisions for progress monitoring and policy evaluation, right? Okay. So in the next few slides, okay, we will cover our discussion about the adoption of the BEDP 2030, okay, embodied by DepEd Order number 24, series of 2022. So do you have any idea of this? So if you're thinking of, okay, the different provisions, no, that defines the Matatag curriculum, the formulation of the Matatag curriculum. Okay, so that will be covered for the next few slides. All right. So, but before that, let us first reflect on this question. What is the legal basis in the formulation of strategic plan, you know, in the Department of Education? So, the legal basis for the formulation of strategic plans in the Department of Education in the Philippines is Republic Act number 9155. Okay. So what is the legal basis in the formulation of strategic plan in the Department of Education? So the correct answer is RA 9155. Okay. So Republic Act number 9155, also known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, provides the legal framework for the governance of basic education in the Philippines. So this act established the framework for the Department of Education, its structure, and its functions, including the formulation and implementation of policies, plans, and programs for the basic education sector. Okay, so what are the provisions, the key provisions of RA 9155? It decentralizes the governance of education to school level and empowers the school heads to lead in the improvement of education, and it mandates the Department of Education to define the rules and responsibilities of its officials, units, and field offices to ensure accountability and greater efficiency in the delivery of education services. It includes the requirement for the DepEd to formulate a strategic plan, which serves as a guide for the implementation of educational policies and programs. Okay, so what is a strategic plan? If you're thinking about a plan that is long-term, so that is what we refer to us the strategic plans because it is a 6-year plan developed at the central, the regional, the schools division's office, the school levels, which contains the strategic directions and the priorities of the incumbent administration for its respective level of governance and is based on a thorough analysis of the prevailing basic education situation. It communicates the results or outcomes the organization wants to achieve and the strategies it will adopt to reach those outcomes. Okay, so the strategic plan, okay, is embodied by Republic Act 9155 or the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001 mandates that the Department of Education, DepEd, shall have authority, accountability, and responsibility to formulate a national basic education plan. In the same manner, the regional offices, the schools division offices, and the schools are mandated to formulate their respective development plans anchored on the national plan. So further, RA 10533 or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013 declares that the state shall establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people and the country and the society at large. Hence, reiterating the need for the development of basic education plans. Okay, so in the strategic planning cycle, we have this framework, no, used by the DepEd. So this cycle involves several stages and each crucial for developing, implementing, and appraising strategic plans. Okay, so as you can see, it also follows a certain cycle, which is the strategic planning cycle. So first, we have planning to plan, no? So as you can see in the blue portion, okay, in the navy blue portion, okay, within that portion is planning to plan. So under planning to plan is organization and mobilization of the planning teams. So this initial stage involves assembling the teams responsible for the planning process. It ensures that all the necessary stakeholders are included and prepared for their roles. Okay. Now, under this planning to plan also, we have understanding the vision, mission, core values, mandate, and strategic directions. So before any detailed planning can begin, it is essential to have a clear understanding of the overarching goals and guiding principles of the organization. Okay. So next stage, no, is the conduct of in-depth situational analysis. So what happens here in the conduct of in-depth situational analysis? So this stage involves a thorough assessment, of the current situation, including the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats, or the SWOT analysis. So in this stage, it helps identify the internal and external factors that could impact the strategic plan. All right. Next is identifying the key and immediate challenges. So under identifying key and immediate challenges, we have, based on the situational analysis, the key challenges that need to be addressed immediately are identified, and this ensures that the strategic plan is responsive to the most pressing issues. Then we have formulation of strategic directions and alignment across governance levels. This involves setting specific goals and objectives, yeah, that align with the broader vision and mission of the organization. It ensures coherence and consistency in strategic planning across different levels of governance, the central, regional, divisional, and the school levels. Then followed by the preparation of the financial plan. This is a crucial part, of the strategic planning, ensuring that there are adequate financial resources to implement the plan. And this stage involves budgeting, financial forecasting to support the strategic initiatives. Then followed by the analyzing and managing the risk. So here, in analyzing and managing the risk, uh, they identify potential risks and developing strategies to mitigate them, which is essential for the success of the strategic plan. So this proactive approach helps in managing uncertainties and ensures smooth implementation. Next is writing the strategic plan. So in this phase, all the insights, the goals, the objectives, and strategies are applied or compiled into a formal document, and this written strategic plan serves as a roadmap for the organization's future actions and decisions. Then we have communicating the plan. Okay, so in communicating the plan, the stakeholders are informed. No, it ensures that everyone is aware of the plan, understand the rules, and is committed to achieving the set objectives. Oh, then we have implementation and okay, implementation and monitoring. Okay, so mobilization for implementation. Once the strategic plan is communicated, what's next? No? After communicating the plan, what's next? No? It moves into the implementation phase. Na dayon. This involves executing the plan, activities, and initiatives. Then there will also be monitoring. Continuous monitoring of the implementation process is essential to ensure that the plan is on track. No? It involves regular progress checks and adjustments as necessary. Then what's next? No, there is what's next. Okay. After mobilization for implementation, what's next? Okay. So diba, after communicating the plan, okay, there is implementation and monitoring na dayon after communicating the plan. Okay. So after communicating the plan, there is implementation and monitoring. So it involves mobilization for implementation, right? And after that, there is quality assurance of strategic plans. So what happens here under quality assurance and appraisal? So this ensures that the quality of the strategic plans involves regular reviews, okay? It will undergo review and adherence to established standards and best practices. So quality assurance of strategic plans, no, ensures that uh, it meets the quality. Okay, next we have the appraisal, okay, of the um, strategic plan. This final stage involves evaluating the outcomes of the strategic plan. It assesses the effectiveness and impact of the implemented strategies, providing insights for future cycles. Okay, so the governance levels involved here, okay, we have the central office. So what's the rule of the central office here? Okay, what's the rule of the central office? They are responsible for developing the national planning framework and the guidelines. How about the regions? Okay, here, the regions. Okay, what's the rule of the regions? The regions ensure the alignment of strategic plans with national guidelines and oversee implementation at the regional levels. Okay, how about the divisions and the schools? The divisions and the schools. So the divisions and the schools, as you can see here, The divisions and the schools implement and monitor the strategic plans within the respective areas, ensuring they meet local needs while adhering to the overall strategic directions. Okay, so you can see here in the framework that the main rule of the central office is the development of DepEd national planning framework and the planning guidelines. While the development and alignment of strategic plans, per governance levels, are the rules and responsibilities of the region, okay, the divisions and the schools, while quality assurance of the strategic plans, are under the regions, the divisions, and the schools, as well as the mobilization for implementation, are the rule of the regions, the division, and the schools. Okay. Okay, next. What is the department's first long-term plan that provides a strategic roadmap geared towards improving the delivery and quality of basic education by addressing the immediate impacts of the pandemic on learning and participation, closing the remaining access gaps, confront issue in education quality, and anticipate the future of education and introduce innovations in fostering resiliency and embedding the rights of children and the youth in education? So is it A, the National Learning Plan, B, the Learning Recovery Plan, C, Basic Education Development Plan 2030, D, Matatag Agenda, or E, none of the above? Okay, so the Department of Education's first long-term plan that provides a strategic roadmap geared towards improving the delivery and quality of the basic education by addressing the immediate impacts of the pandemic on learning and participation, closing the remaining access gaps, confronting the issues of education quality, and anticipating the future of education while introducing innovations in fostering resiliency and embedding the rights of children and the youth in education is okay, the correct answer is letter C, the Basic Education Development Plan 2030 or the BEDP 2030. So the Basic Education Development Plan 2030 is a comprehensive and long-term strategic plan formulated by DepEd, which aims to address the immediate impacts of the pandemic, closing access gaps, improving education quality, anticipating the future of education, fostering resiliency, and embedding children's rights. So the BEDP 2030 sets the strategic direction for DepEd to follow over the next decade, aiming for significant improvements and reforms in the basic education sector. Okay. So what are the different legal bases, for the adoption of the Basic Education Development Plan 2030 or the BEDP 2030? So adopted through DepEd Order number 24, Series of 2022, it shall serve as blueprints in the next decade in formulating, implementing, coordinating, and monitoring plans, programs, and projects, and provide strategic roadmap for the department to follow in improving the delivery and quality of basic education. It addressed the immediate impacts of pandemic on education and anticipate the future education and introduce innovation in fostering resiliency and embedding the rights of children in education. All offices and units in all governance levels shall align their policies, plans, and programs with BEDP. And the BEDP shall be a living document serving as the guide to all DepEd units and offices in their operational programming. Okay. So it is DepEd Order number 24, Series of 2022, which serves as the legal basis for the adoption of the Basic Education Development Plan 2030, dated May 30, 2022. Next, which is not sure about Basic Education Development Plan 2030? A. Uh, BDP 2030 is the Philippines' first long-term plan for basic education covering formal education for kindergarten to grade 12 and non-formal education for youth and adults. Or B, it covers kindergarten, elementary, junior high school, senior high school, and the alternative learning system with articulation of linkages with other education agencies, the ECCD, the CHED, and TESDA. C, it is a plan for deep economic and social transformation to reinvigorate job creation and accelerate poverty reduction by steering the economy back on a high growth path that is inclusive, building an environment and providing equal opportunities to all Filipinos. Or D, designed to address the immediate impacts of pandemic on learning, participation, and education delivery, address the remaining access gaps, improve education quality, and build resilience. Or E, developed through a highly consultative process involving DepEd, management teachers, school heads, learners, and various education stakeholders, including development uh, partners. So which is not true about the BEDP 2030? So the correct answer is letter C. Okay, so this is not being covered by BEDP 2030. Letter C is the answer. So the Basic Education Development Plan 2030 consists of 4 different elements. First, BEDP 2030 is the first Philippines long-term plan for basic education covering formal education for kindergarten to grade 12 and non-formal education for youth and adults. Second, it covers kindergarten, the elementary, junior high school, senior high school, and the alternative learning system, ALTS, with articulation of linkages with other education agencies, the ECCD, the CHED, and TESTA. And it is designed to address the immediate impacts of pandemic on learning, participation, and education delivery, address the remaining access gaps, improve education quality, and build resilience. And fourth, develop through high consultative process involving DepEd management, teachers, school heads, learners, and various education stakeholders, including development partners. Okay, next question, which of the following is not included in the BED piece for priority development areas? So is it A, pivoting to quality, ensuring that all learners attain learning standards in every case stage in the K-12 programs? Or B, expanding access to education for groups in situations of disadvantage to ensure inclusive and equitable quality service delivery? Or C, empowering learners to be resilient and acquire life skills? Or D, strengthening the promotion of the overall well-being of learners in a positive learning environment where learners exercise their rights and experience joy while being aware of their responsibilities as individuals and as members of society for developing and protecting the capabilities of individuals and families. So which is not included in the BEDPs for priority development areas? The correct answer is letter E, developing and protecting the capabilities of individuals and families. Okay, so these are the 4 priority development areas of the BEDP 2030. First, ensuring all learners attain learning standards in every K stage in the K-12 program. Second, expanding access to education for groups in situations of disadvantage to ensure inclusive and equitable quality service delivery. Third, strengthening the promotion of the overall well-being of learners in a positive learning environment where learners exercise their rights and experience joy. And fourth, modernizing basic education governance that empowers learners to be resilient and acquire life skills. Next question. The knowledge, skills, attitudes, and competencies that learners must develop in order to prepare for and thrive in both work and life in the 21st century under Deped Order number 21 series of 2019 are referred to as 21st century skills. Which of the following does not fall under the category of 21st century skills? Okay, A, learning and innovation skills. B, information media and technology skills. C, life and career skills. D, life skills and responsiveness. E, communication skills. So which of the following does not fall under the category of 21st century skills? The correct answer is letter D, life skills and responsiveness. Okay, next. All right, so you can see here in the framework, okay, the skills and aspirations for Filipino learners as envisioned by the DepEd. So this framework aims to develop well-rounded individuals equipped with the necessary skills to thrive in the 21st century while fostering key aspirations that contribute to personal and national developments. Okay, so what are these 21st century skills? So we have learning and innovation skills. So what are these learning and innovation skills? So learning and innovation skills involve creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and innovation. They are essential for adapting to and thriving in an ever-changing world. So learning and innovation skills fosters the ability to think creatively and critically, enabling our learners to come up with new ideas and solutions to complex problems. So that's learning and innovation skills. Next, we have information, media, and technology skills. So what's under information, media, and technology skills? This encompasses the ability to effectively use information and communication technologies like ICT, as well as media literacy and information literacy. So it equips our students with skills needed to navigate and leverage digital tools and information, ensuring they can participate fully in a digital society. Then we have life and career skills. Life and career skills. So what's under life and career skills? Include skills such as flexibility, adaptability, initiative, self-direction, social and cross-cultural skills, productivity, accountability, leadership, and responsibility. These life and career skills prepare students to manage their own careers and personal lives effectively, enabling them to succeed in various settings and industries. So life and career skills. Next, we have communication skills. So it focuses on the ability to communicate effectively in both oral and written forms that ensures students can express their ideas clearly and work collaboratively with others, not crucial for their personal and professional context. So what are the aspirations for Filipino learners? So these are what the DepEd aspires for our Filipino learners. First, we have national identity and nationhood. National identity and nationhood promotes a strong sense of national identity, pride, and loyalty to the country. It fosters unity and a sense of belonging, contributing to national cohesion and patriotism. So national identity and nationhood. Next, we have economic prosperity. What do you mean by economic prosperity? So economic prosperity aims to prepare students to contribute to and benefit from economic growth and development. which ensures that learners are equipped with the skills necessary to participate in the economy, leading to improved individual and national economic outcomes. Then we have unity in diversity. So what do you mean by unity in diversity? Unity in diversity emphasizes respect and appreciation for diversity, promoting social harmony and inclusiveness. So it encourages learners to value differences and work towards common goals despite cultural and social differences. Then we have flourishing. Okay, what do you mean by flourishing? Flourishing focuses on the overall well-being and personal fulfillment of individuals. Okay, so flourishing supports the development of happy, healthy, and fulfilled individuals who can contribute positively to the society. So that's flourishing. Then we have competitiveness. Okay, so competitiveness prepares students to be competitive in the global context, no? Ensuring that they can excel in various fields. So this ensures that Filipino learners can compete and succeed on international level, raising the country's profile and capabilities. So competitiveness. Then we have life skills and responsiveness. Life skills and responsiveness. So develops practical skills and the ability to respond effectively to various life situations. So it equips students with the necessary tools to handle everyday challenges and adapt to changes effectively. Then we have social political stability. So social political stability promotes an understanding of and participation in social and political processes. It encourages active citizenship and engagement in democratic processes, contributing to a stable and functioning society. Then we have sustainability. So when I say sustainability, focuses on sustainable practices and environmental stewardship. So depth ed aspires our learners to be stewards of our environment. It prepares students to make decisions that support long-term ecological balance, ensuring the health of the planet for future generations. So the integration of these different skills and aspirations into the educational system aims to produce holistic learners who are not only academically proficient but also socially responsible and globally competitive. So the framework is designed to address current educational challenges and prepare students to future opportunities and responsibilities. Right. Next question. The BADP has four pillars to reach the sector outcome: access, equity, quality, and resilience. Which of the following is not covered in these pillars' intermediate outcomes? A. All school-age children out of school youth and adults access to relevant basic learning opportunities. B. Modern, efficient, nimble, and resilient governance and management processes. C. Disadvantaged school-age children and youth and adults benefited from appropriate equity initiatives. D. Learners complete K-12 basic education, having successfully attained all learning standards that equip them with the necessary skills and attributes to pursue their chosen paths. Or E. Learners are resilient, know their rights, and have the life skills to protect themselves and claim their education-related rights from DepEd and other duty bearers to promote learners' well-being while being aware of their responsibilities and individuals as members of society. The answer is letter B. So the BADP has four pillars: okay? Access, equity, quality, and resilience. So the one that is not covered in these pillars outcomes is letter B: modern, efficient, nimble, and resilient governance and management processes. Okay, So looking at the framework of Basic Educational Plan 2030. So as you can see in the results framework of the Basic Education Development Plan, BEDP 2030, one goal, common outcomes, and different strategies. So the one goal is for all Filipinos to be able to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully in building a cohesive nation. That's the one goal. And the common outcomes or the sector outcomes, basic education Filipino learners have the physical, the cognitive, the social, emotional, and moral preparation for civic participation and engagement in both secondary opportunities and their local, national, and global communities. And these are the four pillars, no, or the intermediate outcomes under the BEDP 2030. We have access, equity, quality, and resiliency and well-being. When we say access, this refers to all school-age children, out-of-school youth, and adults access relevant basic learning opportunities. And when we say equity, this refers to disadvantaged school-age children and youth and adults benefited from appropriate equity initiatives. And when I say quality, this refers to learners complete K-12 basic education having successfully attained all the learning standards that equip them with the necessary skills and attributes to pursue their chosen paths. And resiliency and well-being means learners are resilient and know their rights and have life skills to protect themselves and their rights while being aware of their responsibilities as individuals and as members of the society. So the enabling mechanisms, okay, are the governance, no, which should be modern, efficient, nimble, and resilient governance and management processes. So that's the results framework for the Basic Education Development Plan 2030. Next question, which of the following BEDP 2030 strategies is not included in the access pillar? So A, provide learners with access to learning continuity interventions in the aftermath of a disaster or emergency. B, improve learners' access to a quality and learner-friendly environment. C, improve quality, improve capacity to retain learners in schools. D, improve strategies to ensure learners' continuity to the next stage. Or E, strengthen mechanisms for improving or providing access to relevant basic opportunities for OSC, OSY, and OSA. The correct answer is letter A. So, provide learners with access to learning continuity interventions in the aftermath of a disaster or emergency. Okay. So looking at each pillar, so what are the different strategies, no, that DepEd suggested to be employed so that students or learners will have access. All school-age children, the out-of-school youth, and adults have access to relevant basic learning opportunities. So there are 5 strategies under this pillar. First is strategy number 1 is improving access to universal kindergarten education. Strategy number 1. Strategy number 2, improve learners' access to quality and learner-friendly environments. And strategy number 3 is improve capacity to retain learners in schools. And strategy number 4, improve strategies to ensure learners continuity to the next stage. And strategy number 5, strengthen mechanisms for providing access to relevant basic opportunities for OSC, OSY, and OSA. So that's under pillar number 1, access, different strategies. Okay, for pillar number 2, equity. Disadvantaged school-age children and youth and adults benefited from appropriate equity initiatives. So what are the strategies under equity? We have strategy number 1, improve program management and service delivery. Strategy number 2, provide an inclusive, effective, culturally responsive, gender-sensitive, and safe learning environment to respond to the situations of disadvantage. Strategy number 3, improve contextualized curriculum and learning delivery. And number 4 is enhance DepEd platforms for learning resources. And 5, promote partnerships to benefit education for learners in situations of disadvantage. Under quality, we have the following strategies. Strategy number 1, align curriculum and instruction methods in all subjects. Okay, so the principle of alignment, okay, is strategy number 1 is applied in your first strategy. Second, we have strengthened competence of teachers and instructional leaders on curriculum instruction and assessment. And third, assess learning outcomes at each key stage transition and for learners in situation of disadvantage. And number 4, align resource provision, including digital devices with key stage learning standards. And 5, strengthen consultations on curriculum instruction and assessment. Under pillar number 4, we have resiliency and well-being. Okay, there are 8 strategies under resiliency and well-being. First strategy involve integrate children's rights in the design of all DepEd programs and projects. Number 2, ensure that learners are aware and can assert their rights, not to and in education from DepEd, and fully understand their responsibilities in relation to these rights. And we have strategy number 3, protect learners and personnel from death, injury, and harm brought by natural and human-induced hazards. So at all costs, we must protect our learners as well as our personnel from death, injury, and harm. And number 4, provide learners with access to learning continuity interventions in the aftermath of a disaster or emergency. And 5, ensure that education facilities are safe and protected from the impacts of natural and human-induced hazards. Number 6, providing learners with basic health and nutritional services. Number 7, nurture and protecting learners' mental and psychosocial health. And number 8, promoting learners' physical and emotional development. Okay. So under governance, no, it is, okay, the aim to have a modern, efficient, nimble, and resilient governance and management processes. So what are the different enabling mechanisms? We have enabling mechanism number 1, education leaders and the managers practice participative, ethical, and inclusive management processes. And all personnel are resilient, competent, and continuously improving. And EM3, ideal learning environment and adequate learning sources for learners ensured. And EM number 4, internal systems and processes are efficient, responsive, modern, and continuously improving. And EM number 5, key stakeholders actively collaborate to serve learners better. And 6, public and private education system work more collaboratively under a dynamic and responsive complementarity framework. So to have modern, efficient, nimble, and resilient governance and management process, so there are 6 enabling mechanisms. So one goal, okay, and then we have different outcomes and several strategies. So we have access, equity, quality, and resiliency as the intermediate outcomes. And you can see that there are several strategies, okay, to be able to achieve those intermediate outcomes. So under access, we have 5 strategies. Under equity, we have 5. And for quality, we have also 5. For resiliency, we have 8 strategies. Okay, so next. Okay, which of the following is not a Matatag agenda goal? A, make the curriculum relevant to produce job-ready, active, and responsible citizens. B, take steps to accelerate the delivery of a basic education services and the provision of facilities. C, take good care of learners by promoting well-being, inclusive education, and a positive learning environment. D, give support to school leaders and teachers to manage their resources well. The correct answer is letter D. Okay, so letter D, give support to school leaders and teachers to manage this resources well, is not a Matatag agenda goal. So what are those under Matatag agenda goal? So we have A, B, and C. So let's take a look at the Matatag agenda goal. Okay, the 4-point basic education agenda, or Matatag. This is the department's agenda, which remains to be consistent with the trust of the national government through the BEDP 2030. So the department shall operate under the Matatag Basic Education Agenda, which aims to do the following. So these are the 4-point basic education agenda, Matatag. Ma means make the curriculum simple, but relevant to produce job-ready, active, and responsible citizens. Ta, take steps to accelerate delivery of basic education facilities and services. Okay. Ta, for take good care of learners by promoting learner well-being, inclusive education, and a positive learning environment. And Ga, give support for teachers to teach better. So to make the curriculum relevant to produce competent, job-ready, active, and responsible citizen as one of the points of the Matatag curriculum. So to make the curriculum relevant, there is a revision of the K-12 curriculum to make them more responsive to our aspiration as a nation. This also involves reducing the number of learning areas to focus on foundational skills and strengthen our literacy and numeracy programs, revitalize our reading, science and technology, and math programs, and improve English proficiency while recognizing linguistic diversity, review the implementation of the mother tongue-based multilingual education policy, and intensify the values formation of learners in curriculum and teaching, embed the culture of peace in our curriculum, be transparent with curriculum guides and test scores, and share test items with schools and teachers to strengthen the use of assessment, and engage with CHED and TESDA and various industry partners to address the issue of skills mismatch. For TA, or take steps to accelerate the delivery of basic education facilities and services. So the initiatives under this, we have created the school infrastructure and facility strength, then build more resilient schools and classrooms, close the remaining gaps in school infrastructure with policies to eliminate corruption, and establish fully functional library hubs, provide schools with electricity, and provide e-classroom packages for teaching and learning, digitize our essential processes, including our national assessments. Okay. And launch our national education portal. Strengthen the complementarity between the public and private schools, and work closely with Congress in pushing for the expansion of GASPE coverage to include kindergarten and elementary learners, and support BARM, the school building program and GASPE direction, and creation of the procurement strand. Okay, so under TA or take good care of learners by promoting learning well-being, inclusive education, and a positive learning environment. So these are the initiatives under TA. Provide education to children and youth in situations of disadvantage, strengthen and instructionalize the reintegration program for adolescent mothers, children at risk, and children in conflict with the law, and strengthen the mechanism in safeguarding our learners against all forms of discrimination and dangers, and seek out mental wellness experts to form interventions at the school level, and strengthen inclusive education programs, including the alternative learning system, last mile schools, and programs for IP learners and learners with disabilities, and establish inclusive learning resource centers. Okay, provide assistive mechanisms to students with disabilities, eradicate illiteracy through relevant policy issuances and community literacy program interventions, and involve our parents and guardians in the education of our children. And lastly, the G, give support to teachers to teach better. So we have the following initiatives that have been in place. So they provide professional development programs, no? So in fact, teachers are now undergoing series of trainings or professional development programs for the proper implementation of the Matata curriculum. They provide support in terms of innovative, responsive, and inclusive teaching approaches following the Philippine Professional Centers for Teachers or PPST, and capacitate our teachers and learners in utilizing technology in remote learning to maximize the benefits of digital learning, and provide training and other learning and development interventions for school leaders, fast track the implementation of the career progression policy, and implement the merit selection policy. Okay, and make the new Teacher Education Council and Secretariat fully functional, advocate for additional benefits for our teachers, implement the policy on the distribution of teacher workload and payment of teaching overload, expand the coverage for the grant of special hardship allowances, address issues affecting the net take-home pay of teachers, work with DOH for free annual physical examinations for teachers, coordinate with GSIS for an improved and superior benefits package for all DepEd personnel, and provide a free legal assistance facility for teachers on matters concerning loan contracts and obligations. So, matatag bansang makabata, batang makabansa, no, is anchored on the BEDP 2030 or the Basic Education Development Plan. So through the Matatag curriculum, the DepEd aims to improve, okay, the outcomes, okay, which is access, equity, quality, resiliency, and well-being, the four pillars of the BEDP 2030, and okay, in the outset, okay, improve the governance. So next question. It is enrollment in a particular level of education of the official school age group expressed as a percentage of the corresponding population. So is it the gross enrollment rate, the net enrollment rate, the completion rates, or the repetition rate? Okay. So what is the correct answer here? Okay, so the correct answer here is letter B. Okay, net enrollment rate. So it is an enrollment in a particular level of education of the official school age group expressed as a percentage of the corresponding population. Okay. So what do you mean by the rest, of these terms? Gross enrollment rate, or the GER. If you're familiar, this refers to the total enrollment in a particular level of education, regardless of age, expressed as a percentage of the population of the official school age group for that level of education. So for example, of gross enrollment rate, or GER. If there are students of all ages enrolled in primary school, GER includes all these students, no, divided by the population of the official primary school age groups. No, so that is gross enrollment rate. How about um this one? The net enrollment rate, which is, the correct answer here. The enrollment in a particular level of education, of the official school age group expressed as percentage of the corresponding population. So for example of net enrollment rates. If the official primary school age group is 6 to 11 years old, so the net enrollment rates only includes those students who are within this age group and are enrolled in primary school, divided by the total population of 6 to 11-year-olds. So that is the net enrollment rate. How about the completion rates? The completion rates refers to the percentage of students who complete a given level of education within a set of periods. So for example, completion rate, the percentage of students who graduate from primary school within the expected number of years. That is the completion rate. Then we have the repetition rate. It indicates the percentage of students who repeat a grade at a given level of education. For example of repetition rate. If a certain percentage of students in a grade do not move to the next grade and have to repeat the same grade, this percentage is the repetition rate. Okay. Yeah. So you have it there. The net enrollment rate, so enrollment in a particular level of education of the official school age group expressed as the percentage of the corresponding population. Then we have the GER, the gross enrollment rates, okay, or the total enrollment for a particular level of education regardless of age, expressed as percentage of the eligible official school age population of that particular level in a given school year. Then we have completion rates, percentage of first grade year entrance in a level of education complete or finish the level in accordance with the required number of years of study, while school leaver rates is the EFA measure for dropout rates. Okay, it covers both pupils or students who do not finish a particular grade or year level, as well as those who finish but fail to enroll in the next grade year level for the following school year. And repetition rates, the promotion of pupils from a cohort enrolled in a given grade at a given school year who study in the same grade in the following school year. Okay, next question. It is one of the information systems that is used to establish new schools and update the profile of existing schools. It is also used to gather the annual school survey, which collects data on enrollment demographics, personnel, utilities, budget utilization, equipment, school site information, disaster incidents, health and nutrition data, school sports data, travel details, and school location. So is it A, the Enterprise Resource Planning System, or DERBS? B, Geographic Information System, GIS? C, Basic Education Information System, BIS? D, Learner Information System, LIS? Or E, Learning Management System, LMS? Okay. So what's the correct answer? Letter C, the Basic Education Information System, or the BEIS. Okay, so this is the current information systems, no, of DepEd. Primary sources of education statistics for evidence-based decision making. We have the Learner Information System, or the LIS. This is the centralized learner registry. Okay, then we have the EBEIS, or Enhanced Basic Education Information System, no, which provides the school ID and the school profile. And we have the BEIS, or Basic Education Information System, no, which contains the school and program related data, and the National School Building Inventory, or the inventory of school buildings, rooms, and facilities. So these are the primary sources of education statistics for evidence-based decision making. Okay. So we have data collection schedules, beginning of school year and end of school year. So to ensure timely data reporting, there is strict observance of the data cutoffs matters, right? So for LIS, beginning of school year encoding, the cutoff is month after class opening, while the BEIS encoding is within January to April. That's BEIS encoding. And also to ensure timely data reporting, the NSBI encoding is scheduled within March to May, while the LIS end of school year updating is scheduled within June to before class opening. Okay. While for the LIS, it is the official source of enrollment data, and it maintains the registry of learners and enables the establishment of a centralized learner registry where basic learner information is captured, stored, and accessed through a secured facility management. So the LIS facilitates the systematic tracking of and decision-making on learners. So we have here the LRN, the Learner Reference Number. So it is a unique and permanent 12-digit number assigned to every learner while completing the basic education program, regardless of transfer to another school or learning center in the public or private sector, and promotion or moving up to the secondary level. Okay. So you have here the 12-digit, okay, digit number of LRN contains, okay, so the first 6 digits, okay, contains the school ID. Okay, so if the first first 6, yeah, the school ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for public schools, 4 for private school, and 6 for SOCs and LUCs, and 7 for PSOs. Okay, the last 2 digit of the year when the learner was enrolled in the LIS, and then student number is a 4-digit unique and sequential number assigned to each learners. So these are the contents of the 12-digit number. So the first 6 contains the school ID identifier, followed by the school year, the last 2 digit of the year, when the learner was enrolled in the LIS. So, and then the remaining 4 digits, okay, contains the student number. No, this is 4-digit unique and sequential number assigned to each learner. So that composed the LRN, the 12-digit number. So for the first 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for public schools, 4 for 1, 2, 3, 5 for public schools, 4 for private schools, 6 for SOCs and LUCs, and 7 for PSO. So the LRN is issued by the recognized or with permit local and overseas Philippine schools offering basic ed and CLCs through class advisors, the registrars, the school heads, or the ALS learning facilitators. It is incorporated in all documents, the forms, examination service, and databases when referring to specific learner. Okay, so this is how the LIS, operates. So first, we have to create the learner's profile. Okay. And then if the learner will transfer, okay, to another school, it allows the LIS to track these learners. And also, the LIS gives you a way of tracking the academic status and performance. Okay. And then also it enables schools, to request for records, which is the school form 10. And data collected from the learners under the LIS, we have the name, the learner's name, the reference number, birth date, place of birth, the sex, the name, parent, learner's address, religion, ethnicity, mother tongue, grade level, classification, or type of learner special education needs, the 4P recipients, the Muslim learner, and the indigenous peoples learner. Okay, so here are also some other data, okay, collected from the learners, the Balik Aral, transferee, health and nutrition, or the BMI, country of citizenship, okay, enrollment by track and specialization, number of classes by shift, okay, grades of learners in TBL track, specialization who took and passed the national certification, and classes by grade level, the monograde, multigrade classes, learners enrollment by program, as well as the learners in alternative delivery mode, the actual learning modality, causes of dropout, end of school year status, the age profile, repeaters, learners honor, vaccination status of learner, and quarterly grades of learners, and also the not performance of the learners. Okay. So these are the data collection activities. First, we have early registration. So there is a conduct of pre-registration of all incoming kindergarten grades 1, 7, and 11 learners. And next is the quick count enrollment. So it involves collecting the number of learners in school as of the first week of the opening of classes, followed by the LIS beginning of school year encoding, enroll learners in the system for official enrollment data. Then next is the LIS end of school year updating learners status and quarterly grades. Okay. So the Enhanced Basic Education Information System provides functionalities in creating school profiles and school IDs. So we have the school ID, yeah, the unique 6-digit number assigned to DepEd, recognized schools, public or private, that has a DepEd issued recognition or permits. Okay, so for the school ID convention, no, so 1 and 2 is for public elementary school. The 3 is public secondary schools, 4 private schools, 5 integrated schools, and 6 SUCs or LUCs. Okay. Then collected information for school profile. So for school profile, we have the school ID, the school name, the school address, region, division, school district, legislative district, and the date established. Okay, the implementing units, the central school or SPED center with SPED class, mother school, annex school, curricular offering classification or school head or school contact details. Okay, so the BEIS or the Basic Education Information System maintains school data related to programs such as but not limited to learning materials, teachers available, school resources, mental health, school sports, DRR, etc. So basic education information system data gathering forms are government elementary school profile, the government junior high school, senior high school profile, the private school profile, and the state, local universities and colleges profile. Okay, so the basic education information system or BIS covers learners with disability, teaching, non-teaching, and teaching personnel. Okay, the WASH data, school sports data, health and nutrition, functional computers, internet access, child protection, and DRM related data. And also, BIS covers data of the curriculum, government assistance and subsidies, the learning resources, teaching assignments, lab session and action research, youth formation related data, and indigenous peoples. Okay, the BIS data collection process involves first, the schools encode in the downloadable Excel forms, then upload it. No, the schools upload Excel forms in the BEIS. Then the division offices validate the forms uploaded by the school. Okay. The National School Building and Inventory. Okay. Then we have the National School Building Inventory. This is a module that collects and stores the inventory of school buildings, the rooms, the water and sanitation facilities, the furniture, and other facilities. So the data collected under the National School Building Inventory involves the summary of the existing buildings, the existing rooms per buildings, the number of temporary learning spaces and makeshift rooms, and the existing number of water and sanitation facilities. So the National School Building Inventory is a vital tool for ensuring that educational facilities are safe, functional, and equitable. By systematically assessing and documenting the condition of the school infrastructure, it supports effective resource allocation, policy development, and strategic planning, ultimately contributing to the overall quality of education. Okay. So it also collects existing number of usable furniture, other facilities, and access going to school. Right. So let's ponder on this question. Next question. What are the purpose of data in the information systems? So item I is planning, and item 2 is budgeting and resource allocation. So based on the given, what are the purpose of data in the information systems? Is it A, statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer the question? Or B, statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. C, each statement is sufficient to answer the question. And D, statement 1 and 2 are not sufficient to answer that question. So what is the correct answer? So letter D, statement 1 and 2 are not sufficient to answer the question. Okay. Because there are overarching data, no, that are collected in the information systems. Okay, not only planning, budgeting, and resource allocation, but all those different data that is being covered under the information system. So what are these? So it's not only planning, budgeting, and resource allocation, but also the evidence-based policies and information or informed decision making. Also, we have research and programs and interventions, monitoring and evaluation. Okay, then who can enroll or create learner's profile? Is it the class advisor, ALS facilitator or registrar? A, B, the school head, C, the division system admin, or D, the regional system admin? So it is the class advisor or the ALS facilitator and the registrar. Okay. So the user account management system defines the level of access of personnel across all levels of governance. So the central office serves as the central system administration or administrator, while the regional offices, okay, serves as the regional head, the regional planning officer, the regional system administrator, covered by the regional office. Then the division office composed of the division head, the division planning officer, the division system administrator, and the ALS administrator. While for the school, We have the school head, the school system administrator, the class advisor, the registrar, and the ALS facilitator. Okay. So it is the central system admin that serve as the super user account, while the regional system admin creates a division head account and reset the password for the division head. Okay. While the division system admin is the one that create the school head accounts and reset the password for the school head, while the school head create the school system admin accounts and reset the password for the school system admin. The school system admin school head is the one that will create the school personnel account for public school and reset the password for school personnel, while the class advisor or the registrar as facilitator will be the one that will enroll or create learners profile. Next, which of the following statements about data privacy and protection is false? So A, LRN and information on the profile of the learners are considered personal and sensitive, which cannot be shared to anyone except to learners, parents, legal guardian, or B, posting of LRN or learner information online like social media is prohibited. C, data sharing is optional for sharing personal and sensitive personal information of learners. D, only aggregated data, that is, number of classroom learners, teachers, can be shared with other stakeholders. E, only authorized persons can access and process the data collected from the information system. So the correct answer is letter C. Data sharing is optional for sharing personal and sensitive personal information of the learners. Let us answer this question. What is true about the School Improvement Plan, or SIP? A, it is a six-year plan that contains strategies on how assistance to schools and learning centers will be implemented. B, it defines strategies and interventions that a school, with the help of the community and other stakeholders, undertakes over a period of 6 consecutive years. And C, it aims to ensure inclusive, equitable, and quality education and promote lifelong learning. C, it is a long-term plan aligned with SDG 2030, designed to address the immediate impacts of COVID-19. E, it is a six-year plan that contains strategies on how priority directions, policies, programs, quality assurance measures, and equity-driven systems will be implemented. The correct answer is B. The school improvement plan defines strategies and interventions that a school, the school level, with the help of the community and other stakeholders, undertakes over a period of 6 consecutive years. Okay. So the key word here for SIP is